We are starting off with breaking news right now at 4. A gas leak is forcing crews to shut off power in Port Charlotte. We're told the leak is happening at the Murdoch Circle Apartments. First responders tell us power is being shut off to several buildings. NBC2 has a crew headed that way.
It's reduced domestic violence homicides by 30%. So we know it's working.
Have they threatened to kill you? Do they have a gun? Those are just two of the questions legislators want to implement when law enforcement show up to investigate a domestic violence call. This is part of a new bill titled the Gabby Petito Act. You probably remember Petito was killed by her boyfriend Brian Laundrie back in 2021. They were stopped by police just days before Laundrie is accused of murdering Gabby. NBC2's Samantha Serbin's finding out how this bill could save more lives.
In 2020, there were 106,615 domestic offenses reported in Florida, resulting in 198 domestic violence homicides in our state and 19 domestic violence manslaughter offenses.
If those numbers alone aren't staggering enough, imagine knowing a simple program could reduce these kinds of fatalities by at least 30%, according to the Maryland Network Against Domestic Violence. That's more than 60 lives saved.
If we know it works, if we know we're saving lives, we should be doing it.
Joseph Petito knows the outcome of domestic violence far too well. His daughter, Gabby Petito, was murdered at the hands of her longtime boyfriend, Brian Laundrie. Gabby's story sent shockwaves throughout the country. Now her family is a force to be reckoned with, fighting for domestic violence survivors. Filed in both the state Senate and House, the Gabby Petito Act would require law enforcement to ask a series of 11 questions when responding to domestic violence calls.
These questions just help determine if someone's in a bad situation.
The idea is to assess the risk of lethal violence.
Because you always want to make sure that, the situation is handled in the best way to make sure that the outcome doesn't end up like Gabby's story.
Some agencies in Southwest Florida already have a version of the lethality assessment in place. Coming up at 6, find out how Cape Coral PD works to advocate in these kinds of cases. I'm local today in Lee County. Samantha Serbin, NBC2.